this is Jeremiah. We have our quota for today, our number, our quote. We're going to probably call it a day at this point. It looks like that might be the case. I might have one more video. We're going to listen to Luke 6 in a moment, okay? And I want to make one more point on 5. Let's talk about new wineskins. You don't want to put truth in people who don't understand truth. You don't want to give somebody something that they can't use, they can't hold, and they're going to abuse. You want to give something to somebody who can utilize what you gave them. God is going to give these gentlemen new wine. Jesus Christ is going to give them truth. He's going to give them a love river. A river of love that flows in them. They're going to breathe in love. They're going to exhale love. They're going to breathe in truth. They're going to exhale truth. That means they're going to be new bottles and they're going to get the new wine. You don't put truth in people who are used to lies. You have to prepare them. The master is preparing these gentlemen for 3 years to go into action. That's why the next book after that, the next book is called Action. Okay? He's going to fill them with new wine on Pentecost, the 2nd chapter of the book of Acts. Then they're going to go into action because they have new wine skins and new wine. You don't give new wine to people who are used to old wine. They're excited about the 10 Commandments. They're excited about self-performance. They're excited about their performance. They're excited about rewards based upon performance. You can't give the gospel to people who are going to base their relationship with God on performance. Your relationship with God is based upon the performance of Jesus Christ. In the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, that's what you're basing your life on now. And if anything happens or you perform something, you give God the glory for it 100%. Now we can use you. You know that God demands love from you. He doesn't demand that you obey the 10 Commandments perfectly or any of that nonsense. He doesn't push that on you, something that you can't handle. He's going to give you something you can, which is love me with all of your heart. And then we have a team member now. You belong to Zion now, the high life. The high life is for you to put on righteousness and to practice righteousness and to teach love and care and deep love and care, agape love, serious love, not flippant affection, animal kind of, no. We're talking about high love. That's what we're talking. We're talking about Zion's love. And you're going to put all this on, and that makes you a Zionist. That makes you excellent. You're becoming a person of excellence. You're putting on the high lifestyle. And you're growing in this lifestyle. And now we can put you to work. The Master said, whom the Father hath sealed. Who the Father hath sealed. That means they're ready to go. You've been trained. Now we can have you fast. Now we can have you motoring. While you're in the classroom, we're not here to focus on you having a lot of power and energy to go because you're not going anywhere. New wine is for new engines. Engines that can handle, they know how to handle the Father's Spirit. They know how to love people with the Ghost. They know how to preach forgiveness. They know how to bless the poor. For yours is the kingdom of God. Luke chapter 6, verse 20 here. And Luke chapter 6 becomes monstrous stuff here. This is where the big teaching kind of hits the road. Now, obviously, you hit a lot of heavy hitters here throughout this entire gospel, or the whole Bible for that matter. But Luke 6 gets into some brass tacks here. Woo! You know, like, blessed are the poor, and woe to you that are rich. And the Master's going to tell you why you're blessed if you're poor, then why you're blessed if you're rich. What is it like to be a poor Christian? What is the Lord going to allow you to experience as a poor Christian? In other words, what life has He ordained for you as a poor Christian? He's going to explain that in this next chapter 6. He's also going to tell you why people are going downstairs who are rich. Because they sought to console themselves. I was talking with a relative here a couple of months ago. I told them, do not console yourself. Get away from the pleasure principle. Lose it. You want to offer your life to Jesus Christ in a basic life of denial. That's what you want to do. You want that as a living testimony on the Lord's day. Anything else is worthy of disqualification, which goes along with surfeiting. The word is surfeiting or consolation. You can use either one of those terms, surfeiting or consolation. You just don't want to get out there and be a rich secret agent or whatever they have on these movies here in America and so forth. You don't want any parts of any of this. You want to find you a small, poor church, offer yourself as a living sacrifice in that church, hunger with the people who are hungry, and face reproach for being poor, and people saying, get away from that guy. He gives all his money away. He's poor. Get away from him. When he gives a banquet, he invites poor people. Isn't that what Jesus said to do? If you give a banquet, invite the poor and the handicapped. Christianity is not Wall Street ideology and capitalism. I have news for many of you out there. It doesn't mean you can't participate in capitalism. That's obvious. The point is you better watch out and you better not cry. And I'm telling you why. Because Luke 6 is going to take you to reality and the Lord's day. Because the Lord is always focusing on His day. What's the criteria for His day? He doesn't want you in the dark as to what's going to happen on His day. He wants you to know what's going to happen on His day. He loves people, and he's giving them warnings. But He can't make you be a charitable person. Can He? No. He can't make you not go into the church and lie like Ananias and Sapphira did to Peter, and they both dropped dead. They weren't fearful of sinning in the church. And the fear of sin is the beginning of being smart. That's when you start getting hip. Now, we focus here on humiliation a lot, but the fear of sin is basically the same thing, and that's do justly, to live righteously and walk the paths of righteousness. And then if you add compassion and be caring and forgiving, then we have a winner on our hands. You've hit the trifecta. You are a winner. You hit everything right on the button. Because you put on humiliation, you took up your cross, you put on denial, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. You did that. And He's going to spell it out, and He's going to talk about the difference between being poor and being rich. And you basically want to be poor. That's quite obvious. And He says, rejoice ye in that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich. In other words, the rich are going to abuse you. That's what the Master's saying. The rich are going to abuse the poor, and you need to just go ahead and face it and deal with it. But rejoice in your serving God and loving God, which we just read of the Master in the wilderness, and serve Him alone, and you're a winner. And rejoice in that day when people separate themselves from you, talk about you, reproach you. Get away from that guy. That guy's crazy, man. He's poor. He gives all his money to the poor. What a fool he is. Look at that guy over there, man. He gave all his money away, man. What an idiot, man. He hangs out with the poor. That's what William Penn's father did to him. William Penn's father threatened him. Mr. Penn Sr. there, he threatened this boy. We started hanging around poor people. I don't want you hanging around poor people. Basically what he's saying, we're rich, we're educated. We hang around the rich and the privileged. I know the king personally. I just lend him some money and so forth. So that's the life that you don't want. You want William Penn's life. You want to go preach to the poor. You want to go hang around the poor like William Penn did. That's when he came over to the Indians. He saw Indians as brothers, even though they owned a teepee. That's all they owned. America has some very good leaders here. Now, William Penn was not a very good Bible teacher per se. He probably became one, but he wasn't a well-educated Bible teacher in general. I don't think so. But that's not the point. We still appreciate a lot of good things that he preached in Pennsylvania here to start this country, more or less. Okay? He basically told his father, I don't want to speak for him, but from what I gather, and I'll give you, a rough paraphrase maybe, but he basically told him, I don't care what you do with your money or whatever. I love the Quakers here. We're all friends, and I'm not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere forever. We're friends forever. Basically, Dad, you love money, I love people. So that's basically what's going down, unfortunately. And Jesus said that he's going to divide families. That's exactly what he does. He divides families. The Bible says that in the tribulation period, family members are going to turn other family members in who don't want to worship the devil and so forth. They're going to turn you in. I don't see myself being here. I sure hope I'm not here. I'm praying that I may be accounted worthy to escape all these 7-year tribulation, horrific situations. But let's continue with this train of thought. So let's listen to chapter 6, and let's talk about one more thing that's really key to this chapter, and it's very difficult to find something key in this chapter. This chapter is chock full of beauty. Come on, this is just... Let's go to verse 38, 638. Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, and shaken together, running over, shall men give unto your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. There you go. There you go. The love you give coming back to you. He just said, don't be rich, so he's not talking about money coming to you. It can't be. He just said, invite the poor to your banquet. So how are you going to get a big return from somebody who is poor? He just said, blessed be the poor. So he's obviously not going to bless you with extra money and all this kind of nonsense that you might see on television from some of these bozos. The point is that what we have here is a simple principle of your bosom. He shall gather the lambs in his arms and carry them in his bosom. Jesus is going to gather Christian people. He's going to carry them in his heart. You can't beat a leader like this. This is the cat's pajamas here. If I can make a joke here about something very serious, but no, this is the happiest moment here. This is the big stuff. This is Mr. Big Stuff here. This is Mr. Love here. And he's in charge. And just like my parents were in charge of me, I was very happy with them being in charge. Let's put it that way. They're into love communication, heart-to-heart communication. They never prioritize riches or fame or Hollywood cameras or, I was their bosom. He shall gather the lambs in his arms and carry them in his bosom, and he shall gently lead those that are with young. All Christians are going to be in the heart and the chest, bosom area of Jesus Christ. Oh boy, how can you beat that? You can't beat it. This is it. They used to have a sticker on people's cars here in America in the 70s. I found it. You know, people put that sticker on their car. You know, I found it. You know, you better believe you found it. If you found this guy right here, man, come on, pressed down, shaken together, running over. People are going to give you overflowing love. That's what they're going to give you, and that's what I want. Isn't that what you want? And then some people will say, well, what about money? Well, see, here we go back to animals again. Here we go back to Goliath again. And you get this Goliath conversation a lot. Even people who attend churches and so forth, you know, synagogues of hell, wherever they go, you know, they're always doubting, you know, the idea of focusing on love. You know, I don't want to focus on love. I'll go broke or something. It's what a bunch of nonsense. That is straight from the devil. You know, you can't focus on love. It's actually very imbecilic, and we're here to help these people. We don't put them down per se, but you know what? It's kind of like sing that song "Far Away," bro. You know, take your doubting, I don't love Jesus self, and get out of here. You know, get lost. We have to prioritize stealing money, and the gang members, you know, the drug cartel are intelligent people if you think about it, and so are these rap artist people who teach filth and abusing women and drinking cheap alcohol. Well, those guys are smart because they got lots of money, dude. Isn't it all about money and, you know, and being solvent and all this kind of conversation, man? No, that's all from hell. We teach love is the key here. We seek the kingdom first and pleasing Father, and everything's going to be okay around here. Take your doubtful, prioritize Jesus stuff and get lost. You don't want to put your confidence in a heart-to-heart life. Get out of here. We don't count pennies around here, dude. We don't have Scrooges around us, you know. We have money in the bank, and Tiny Tim can be healed, but you just hold on to the money, you know, your little greedy self, you know, TV preacher type people, whatever. Get your rear end out of our face, to put it bluntly. That's a little too blunt, but get out of here, you know, get lost, dude. Making fun of poor people and stuff, and people who give all their money away, you know, what is he doing? Well, he's prioritizing love over there. We don't prioritize love around here, dude. We have affection like animals. You know, we'll love you for a week, but then we'll dump you, especially if you don't have any money left. Or if you're a performance. Woo, performance. A Babe Ruth hit a home run. Woo-hoo! They say Babe Ruth died in a hospital by himself. Why? Because he wasn't performing anymore. Gentiles and people who aren't born again, they base their love to you based upon performance. Where at the end of this chapter, it's based upon performance as far as being a caring person and basically expecting nothing in return. Right? Let's look at that scripture before we listen to the chapter. If you lend to them if you lend to them of whom you hope to receive, what thank have you? Stop right there. That's the point. The point is that we don't live like animals and Gentiles and Goliath. We don't expend energy only if we get something in return, kind of thing. Like animals, you know, animals will grab an animal, and if you come and get the animal, they'll kill you. We don't do that. If you take something, you can have it. In other words, Father's in charge. Why am I worried about what you take? Animals don't trust in God. Let's go to the scripture one more time. This is very significant. We're going to listen to the chapter. We're going to move on. We have to go back to this chapter in about 8 weeks. This chapter here is absolutely monstrous, as you can see. This is absolutely ginormous stuff here. This is like the center of your Bible, kind of. This is one of the top, 20, 30 parts of your Bible right here. Let's look at this again. And if you lend to them of whom you hope to receive, I only do stuff when somebody gives me something back. That's all I do. And not only that, I want triple of what I gave. Like a bank. Banks are essentially from hell, aren't they? They sure are. Because they only lend when they can expect something in return. Now this is a supernatural life that most people don't live, but I'm a Quaker, and I live this life, and this is the way I think. I don't care how many people out there don't like this, or who are disturbed or whatever. It doesn't really bother me. I wish they would listen to the master, because he's making very simple grammar right here. Fourth graders can soak this up. This is not difficult. What thank have ye? So what thanks are you going to get from God? If the only time you do something is when you get something in return. You're supposed to give expecting nothing again. Because that's how you store up in heaven. That is called a safe deposit box in the city of New Jerusalem, and you're going to store up treasures in heaven. Do not store up treasures on the earth. I don't store up nothing, because I was commanded not to do so. I don't want to store up squat. I don't want to store nothing up. If you tell me you're storing up, then you're basically telling me you're the devil. You belong to the dark kingdom. That's what you're basically telling me. Now, if you have an emergency, or you have you save for a car, or you're a businessman and you deal with large sums of money or something, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about you storing up for pleasures and all that kind of stuff. If you do good to them which do good unto you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do the same. This is the way the world is, sinners in the world. But you're supposed to be different. You're supposed to be born again, and you're supposed to think like Father, and that is to love your enemies, do good to them, hoping for nothing again. There you go. Back to Matthew 6. Give and expect nothing back. And by the way, let's stop right here. We're not talking about going to work right now. That's not what we're talking about. The Master's not talking about that. He's talking about your spare change situation, money that you've saved, money that you have that's extra on bills and so forth, where you start hoarding, and all of a sudden you're not a lover of mankind anymore. You don't love God anymore. And that goes for people who aren't very nice or whatever. Love your enemies. Back to Matthew chapter 5. But love your enemies and do good and lend, hoping for nothing again. Stop right there. That's the big issue right there. If you're hoping for nothing again, how can you be rich? You can't be rich. It's impossible for you to be rich if you're hoping for nothing again. And where is your storage? Where is your return for your expenditure of energies, of mercy, of time, of money, of mammon? It's right there, hoping for nothing again. Your reward shall be great. Stop right there. And your reward is God's going to call you his child. Because he's very kind to people and giving to people who are not good people, like maybe me, per se. What's the point? The point is the big point here is hoping for nothing again, and your reward shall be great. Which goes back to Matthew 5, because this is a continuation of Matthew 5. Okay? And it's the same basic sermon. And the point is that he's going to say that hoping for nothing again is the same thing as Matthew chapter 5, right? Matthew 6, rather. Same thing. Let's look at that as we get ready to listen to the chapter to close out. Verse 22, verse 20 to 32. For all these things the Gentiles seek. There you go. The Gentiles argue about these things, Oh no, the bills, I'm going to go steal and lie. And this is what the devil tells people, and they buy into all this. Verse 19 of the same chapter, lay not up for yourselves treasures on earth. That goes back to thou shalt not covet. The Bible is very consistent here. But verse 20, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor dust corrupt, nor thieves break in and steal. Okay, there you go. Okay, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven. How do you lay up treasures for yourself in heaven? You don't get much on the earth. That's common sense. Okay, it's simple logic. I do things, I don't get anything in return for them. That's good for you because it's permanent in heaven. That's a real safe deposit box. They have a safe deposit box at the bank I go to. There's no such thing as a safe deposit box. If you die, how is that safe? Let's go to Luke 6, and I'm going to shut down for the day. Let's go.
And it came to pass on the second Sabbath after the first, that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the ears of corn, and did eat, rubbing them in their hands. And certain of the Pharisees said unto them, Why do ye eat that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath days? And Jesus answering them said, Have ye not read so much as this, what David did, when himself was an hungred, and they which were with him? How he went into the house of God, and did take and eat the shewbread, and gave also to them that were with him, which it is not lawful to eat, but for the priests alone. And he said unto them, That the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. And it came to pass also on another Sabbath, that he entered into the synagogue and taught. And there was a man whose right hand was withered. And the scribes and Pharisees watched him, whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thoughts, and said to the man which had the withered hand, Rise up, and stand forth in the midst. And he arose and stood forth. Then said Jesus unto them, I will ask you one thing. Is it lawful on the Sabbath days to do good, or to do evil, to save life, or to destroy it? And looking round about upon them all, he said unto the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored whole as the other. And they were filled with madness, and communed one with another what they might do to Jesus. And it came to pass in those days, that he went out into a mountain to pray, and continued all night in prayer to God. And when it was day, he called unto him his disciples, and of them he chose 12, whom also he named apostles, Simon, whom he also named Peter, and Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew, Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zelotes, and Judas the brother of James, and Judas Iscariot, which also was the traitor. And he came down with them, and stood in the plain, in the company of his disciples. And a great multitude of people out of all Judea and Jerusalem, and from the seacoast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him, and to be healed of their diseases, and they that were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed. And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and healed them all. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples, and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil, for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven, for in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do good to them which hate you, bless them that curse you, and pray for them which despitefully use you. And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other. And him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not to take thy coat also. Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away thy goods ask them not again. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. For if ye love them which love you, what thank have ye? For sinners also love those that love them. And if ye do good to them which do good to you, what thank have ye? For sinners also do even the same. And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank have ye? For sinners also lend to sinners to receive as much again. But love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, hoping for nothing again. And your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the highest, for he is kind unto the unthankful and to the evil. Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete withal, it shall be measured to you again. And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but every one that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by his own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil. For of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my sayings, and doeth them, I will shew you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house, and digged deep, and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But he that heareth, and doeth not, is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell. And the ruin of that house was great.
Now, that's a lot of info right there. That's why I break this chapter up. But I'll be back. As a matter of fact, we might have a short video to recap this chapter. I'll be right back. Maranatha.